Cycloid path in a magnetic field. A particle of mass m and charge q is dropped in a uniform gravity g vertically downwards and uniform magnetic field b horizontal. Show that its path is a cycloid. What is a cycloid? It's trajectory of a particle on the rim of a rolling disk. So in this example, let's say this is a disk which is rolling towards right. So if you follow this dot at the bottom, so as it travels along the rim and as the rim itself moves forward, the path traced by this particle is called a cycloid. Now before we attempt the question, let's see what's the position of a particle in cycloid is. So in this case, let's say we have a disk here and the bottom of the disk, the particle is kept and we will trace that particle's path. So this disk is moving forward with velocity v and rotating with angular velocity omega. As it's pure rolling, velocity is omega r, and if it turns by angle theta, that theta is omega t. So here, let's say this disk turns by angle theta. So clearly the center of this disk will move forward by vt. Now let's write x and y coordinates of this point. So x coordinate is vt minus r sine theta. This distance is r sine theta. So x is vt minus r sine theta. And y is r minus r cos theta. R minus r cos theta. So we can simplify this and write x comes to be r to omega t minus sine omega t, and y coordinates will come as r into 1 minus cos omega t. So if we get similar equations for any particle, we can say that the particle's path is a cycloid. Now let's get back to our problem. So in our problem it is given that a particle of mass m and charge q is dropped. Gravity is downwards and magnetic field is horizontal. So here let's assume the magnetic field is inside the plane and positive y-axis is downwards. So we need to prove that this path is cycloid. So our approach to solve this problem is, first we will find the location of the particle. So we'll find the position of this particle in its x and y coordinates. And then we will see if those equations are similar to that of a cycloid. So before we solve it, let's once do a qualitative analysis of its motion in y direction and x direction. So let's get a feel of what's going on here. So this particle which is here falls from here. It follows this blue path. So any point at this blue path, its velocity is tangential to the path. Now as the particle goes down, its velocity will increase, and as the velocity will increase, the magnetic field force, which is equal to qvb, that will also increase because velocity is increasing. So as it goes down, fb will increase and mg will remain constant. And also at any point the direction of fb is perpendicular to the trajectory. Now let's see here, what is force upwards? So it will be QVB. So this is a general, at any general point, let's say this angle between the vertical and FB is theta. So at any general point, F upwards is QVB cos theta minus mg. Now during its motion from 1 to 4, F upwards keeps increasing. So during 1 to 4, V is increasing. And because theta is decreasing, cos theta is increasing. So QVB cos theta is increasing as it moves from 1 to 4. So at one point along this path, let's say at point 3. So from 3 onwards, let's say QVB cos theta is greater than mg. So when that happens, F upwards will be positive. So the net force in y direction will be upwards. So the particle from 3 onwards will start to retard in y direction until its Vy becomes 0 at this point. So once again, during 1 to 4, velocity keeps increasing and theta keeps decreasing. So if velocity is increasing, QVB is increasing, and theta is decreasing, so QVB cos theta is increasing. So from 1 to 4, F upward increases. From 3 onwards, let's say QVB cos theta is greater than mg. So it increases until it becomes, at some point it becomes more than mg. Then particle will retard and Vy will become 0 at 4. So Vx is still there, but Vy is 0. Now 4 to 7. Particle will accelerate in y direction only. So F upwards is still there, and now the velocity also is in the same direction. So there will be acceleration until 0.5. So after 0.5, mg will again dominate. So the particle will again start to retard and will come to a complete stop at 0.7. Why complete stop? Because by energy conservation, here if the velocity is 0, here also it should be 0. Because magnetic field does not add any velocity to the particle. Now once it comes at rest here, again same cycle will be repeated. So the particle will move like this, and again it will move like this. So this is the analysis in y direction. Now let's see what happens in x direction. So in x direction, the force is QVB sine theta. So until 0.4, theta is positive. So Fx is positive. So from 1 to 4, Fx is positive, implying Vx will increase till 4. So Vx will reach its maximum value at 4. After that, force is in negative direction. Fx is in negative direction. So Fx is negative. So in x direction, the particle will then retard, and again it will come to full stop. Vx is equal to 0 at 7. So now we understood qualitatively that the particle will move like this, and again it will go like this. Now let's find the exact equation of this curve. Solution. So when the particle starts from here, at some point, let's say its velocity in x direction is Vx and downwards is Vy. Forces will be mg downwards and QVB perpendicular to velocity. Magnetic field is B inside the plane, gravity is down, and we have taken positive y-axis downwards and x-axis towards right. So at this point, let's write the equation of force. So force is equal to mg j cap plus q into v cross p. So we are writing force in vector form. So v is vx I cap plus vy j cap and b is b k cap. So this is I, this is j, then by right hand thumb rule, inside the plane is k. So magnetic field is b k cap. So now we can, I cross k is minus j and j cross k is I. So we can write this as mg minus qvx bj cap plus qvy b I cap. Now this is the force in y direction and this is the force in x direction. So let's write force in y direction as m dvy by dt is equal to this thing and m dvx by dt is equal to this thing. Now let's differentiate this first equation. We will get m d2vy by dt square is equal to, this will become 0 because it's constant, minus qb dvx by dt. Now dvx by dt we will put from here, which will be qb vy by m. So once we put that and simplify, we get our equation d2vy by dt square is equal to minus q square b square by m square vy. Now this is an equation of SHM. How come? Let's see from what we already know of SHM. So a particle does SHM when the restoring force is proportional to displacement or force is equal to minus ky. So we can write this as m dvy by dt is equal to minus ky. If we differentiate this, we get m d2vy by dt square is equal to minus k vy, or d2vy by dt square is equal to minus k by m vy, and k by m which we know very well from SHM, that is omega square. So general solution of this equation is y minus y naught is equal to a into sine omega t plus delta, where y naught is the equilibrium position, a is amplitude, and delta is initial phase of the SHM. So let's write this same general equation for this, and we will then arrive at the exact equation. So this is performing SHM. You can compare this equation with this. So omega in our case will be qb by m. So the particle has started from here. It will reach its maximum velocity here. It will come at stop. It will again go back. And like this, it will keep performing the SHM. Now be very clear, we are only talking about y direction. We are not talking about x direction right now. So in y direction, the particle is performing SHM and starts from the top. Now let's write this general equation here. So for position, y minus y naught is equal to a sine omega t plus delta. We differentiate it, we get velocity is equal to, I'm not writing Vy, but this we mean velocity in y direction only. So Vy is equal to a omega cos omega t plus delta, and differentiate once more, acceleration is equal to minus a omega square sine omega t plus delta. Now here y naught is equilibrium position. In our case, the particle is starting from top and we have taken this as 0. So the particle will reach the distance a, that will be the equilibrium position. It will reach its maximum distance 2a from this our coordinate axis. So in our coordinate axis, equilibrium position is A. So y naught is equal to A. Delta. Delta is initial phase. So when the particle is at the center, then the phase is 0. Then it moves in positive y direction and its phase becomes pi by 2, then pi, then 3 pi by 2. So at this position, phase is 3 pi by 2. So y naught is equal to A and delta is equal to 3 pi by 2. Now if we go further down, we can see that A max is equal to A omega square. We know that. Now where is A max? It's on the top when the particle is just dropped. So that time magnetic field force is 0. So the only force is mg. So A max is equal to G is equal to A omega square, which gives A is equal to G by omega square. So in these three equations, if we put y naught is equal to A, delta is equal to 3 pi by 2, and A is equal to G by omega square, if we solve this, we will get in y direction, position is equal to y is equal to G by omega square 1 minus cos omega t. We will get Vy is equal to G by omega sin omega t, and we will get Ay is equal to G cos omega t. We are writing omega here. What we mean by omega is QB by M, which we already saw here when we compared this from this. So this is a complete analysis of the particle in y direction. Now let's get the answers in x direction as well. So let's go back to our initial equations of force. So here we got those two equations. So we can get x from here or here. If we try to get the position x from here, we have to integrate it once to get Vx, then integrate it again to get x. If we use this equation, we need to integrate only once to get x. So let's use this equation and not this. So let's go down. So I'll write this equation again. So this is the equation. So here we have a term dvy by dt. This is ay. So let's substitute ay from this equation to here. So 1 and 2 gives m into g cos omega t is equal to mg minus qbvx, this equation. So we'll get Vx is equal to mg by qb times 1 minus cos omega t. Now again, qb by m is omega. So let's write this as g by omega 1 minus cos omega t. If we integrate this, we will get x, because we are starting from origin, x will vary from 0 to x, is equal to g by omega t minus sin omega t by omega, and limits will be 0 to t. So we will get our answer x is equal to g by omega square omega t minus sin omega t. So we have got the position x and we have got the position y as well. Now let's write them separately in a next page and compare it with the cycloid. So our equations are x is equal to g by omega square omega t minus sin omega t, and y is equal to g by omega square 1 minus cos omega t. The general cycloids equations which we derived earlier were these. So you can compare the two and see that they are similar. Hence the path is cycloid. That's our solution.